Welcome back to These Things Are Written on this Friday. Today we are looking at Genesis 10, but before that, I want to go back to the end of chapter 9. I said there was some strange stuff as I wrapped up last week, or yesterday's. So today I am going to kind of hit that part of chapter 9 and then finish with 10. 10 will be rather short anyway, as it is simply the genealogies, but we'll talk about that then. Let's start with verse 20 of Genesis chapter 9. Noah began to be a man of the soil and planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backwards. They did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the land of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Interesting passage, isn't it? The purpose of this passage is to set up the drama, so to speak, between the people of God who were descendants of Shem and the people of Canaan who were descendants of Ham, specifically his son Canaan. So this passage, the reason for it, as it was recorded by Moses, is to point out that division and that blessing that God gave to Shem over the Canaanites. That the blessings that would go from Shem to Abraham to then to the Israelites would be to rule over the people in the promised land. Now, some have used this to justify slavery of Africans, especially back in the 17 and 1800s. But even today, you hear that come out every now and then, that the Bible said that they would be slaves and under the control of others. Now, first of all, that's wrong because the other of the brothers of Canaan settled more in Africa, Cush, Egypt, those areas. Canaan settled in the promised land. So that really doesn't hold water. They were very wrong in using that passage to justify slavery of any kind. And they're using it greatly out of context. In fact, really, this passage shows the common lineage between all mankind going back to Noah and his sons. We are the same race. There are not black races, brown races, this race, that race. We are all the human race with a common ancestry of Noah. All right. Now, with that cleared up, hopefully a little bit more than it was yesterday when you read it, we're going to continue with chapter 10. And again, I am going to skip around. I'll try to pick out the verses, although they're smaller print and I don't have my glasses on, so sometimes I can't see, but I'll try my best. Beginning with chapter 10, verse 1. These are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth are Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Then jumping to verse 5. From these the coastlands people spread in their lands, each with their own language, by their clans in their nations. They really moved north and west of the promised land, to Greece, Turkey, probably Europe and maybe a little bit of the western part of Asia as well. But notice that these are the ones that the least is mentioned about. We move on to the next verse, verse 6. It says, the sons of Ham, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. They settled in the land of the promised land, Canaan, and also northeast Africa are those that are listed. Now, most of these places that are mentioned are rather close to the promised land because of the small view of the world that Moses had when he wrote, that God's people really had at this time as well. But really, the promised land and then on down through Africa. Verse 20 then, and by the way, it goes quite a bit into this, showing there would be that connection between Ham, mainly through Canaan, and Seth, mainly through the descendants of then Abram. Verse 20, these are the sons of Ham by their clans, their languages, their lands, and their nations. 21, to Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the elder brother of Japheth, the children were born, and he lists them. And then in verse 31, these are the sons of Shem by their clans, their languages, their lands, and their nations. Again, the emphasis there is Arabia is where they settled. Most likely Arabia, Iraq, maybe a little bit of Iran, and then east from there into Asia, Southeast Asia especially. So those are all of those that are listed to kind of show how mankind spread out from there to the different areas of the world. These are the clans of the sons of Noah according to their generations in their nations, and from these nations spread abroad on the earth after the flood. This is the end of chapter 10. Come back next week and we'll focus on Genesis 11 moving forward, and we'll be introduced to Abram and see God's plan for him. I hope you'll join me again next week. Until then, God bless.